Welcome back to the Secor Show. There I was, the rising sun. This segment will teach an individual how to actually use our political system to create change, how to hold our elected officials responsible and accountable by taking ownership of our communities and our nation. The nation and state electors mean a lot because these entities control funding mechanisms of the state and nation. They are also the legislative body, but most of their legislation is so misguided by politics and lobby groups. We have very little representation or participation at any given level. Our nation was designed as a democratic republic, providing equal powers to both the legislative and executive branches, which a judicial branch to hold them accountable for their actions, good and bad. As one should understand, the concept of our republic was designed in the time when we were in violation of our own constitution and did not provide equal rights. Wealthy elitists controlled electorates, funding, and positions of power. It is not till our nation evolves into a true democracy based on the design of our Constitution can we, the people, actually be equal and live life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. However, you must start with addressing your concerns on any given issue to your direct locality, town, city, council, or equivalent. You must go to their meetings and challenge them by voicing yourself as an individual, community group, and businesses. All are required to have a public comment section, but every entity is only provided 3 minutes to speak. I want to make sure you engage in the right way to make your voice heard. The week before, when one of their monthly work sessions is about to take place, send an email to all your local representatives telling them who you are, provide your struggle, identify the issue, and ask your question. Do this in your own voice and passion. Do not worry about editing, grammar, or punctuation. Most community meetings are more about people complaining than solving issues. They only show up when they are mad about a decision already made, as they did not participate. I would recommend you identify what you believe the solution is, making sure that you are not violating someone else's rights for the solution. Do not show up to the community meeting, in person or virtually, mad or aggressive. This is the biggest breakdown of our nation. People no longer deliberate, they argue. Now you need to take that email you wrote and specifically, concisely communicate your message in 3 minutes. In this past Monday, I submitted an email to my town and county council members so they could work on it together tonight at their work session. I will then prepare to be at the next formal meeting to ask the question in the 3-minute allotted time. Here are my 3 minutes. Let's time it. Good evening, town council members. My name is Justin Roger Burns. I first moved to this town in 2012. I was working for Valleycrest, a prominent landscape maintenance company in the United States. I was a very successful landscape designer, having 4 offices, one in Fredericksburg, one in Woodbridge, and 2 in Chantilly and Dulles. The town of Warrenton was in a logistical position and provided a small, quiet town to start a family. I left that company and the town in 2015 to go hike the Appalachian Trail, chase dreams, public service, and carve out my niche in the disaster service industry. I returned in 2017 to begin working on developing my concept, Secor Solutions, Inc., with the George Mason Enterprise Center, Small Business Administration, and the Path Resource Center. When I returned, I worked locally at 2 wineries, a wild game butcher, and for Home Depot, all tied to the skill sets needs in disaster relief work. I then deployed to Puerto Rico in August 2018 spending 6 months working on the processes, concepts, systems, procedures, and developing networks. I learned quickly that this work would put me at the center of innovation, those driven with passion, solving problems with real business potential. Most just needed small investments, resources, or the right skill sets and experiences to have them launch. However, this nation's investors have always struggled with fairly investing in innovation. Through my own struggle of launching my nonprofit, a very innovative business concept, I identify a void of the lack of digital media labs throughout the nation. Good examples may be that at the Montclair County Library in Prince William County or the state-of-the-art Slover Library in Norfolk, Virginia. We have local incubators, resource centers, and libraries, but they do not provide the tools necessary for my generation and generations younger than me to be innovative or competitive. The Council is charged under the laws of the Commonwealth of Virginia to determine the needs of the citizenry and to establish the ordinances, policies, and budgets which determine the kind, manner, and cost of services to be delivered. That is your oath. In our nation's current series of disaster situations, it is becoming harder for your citizenry to communicate need and desire. Ordinances, policies, and budget constraints constrain innovation in every locality, state, and nation. In the days, weeks, months, and years ahead, innovation is key to our nation's success, and it will be very competitive. How will you make sure innovation and the citizenry entrepreneurs' needs are being met to promote innovation in your nation's time of need and allow them to be competitive in a post-disaster globalized digital marketplace? So I ran over about 22 seconds, but that was probably because I had like a bunch of, reading errors. So practice it a few different times, shorten it, make sure that whatever the message is, you try to get it under the 3 minutes because they'll try to start cutting you off. And you don't want to cut off that last question. In addition to the email sent, you'll need to make sure you formally ask the question in the required format to the clerk of your town, city, county, or representative body. I would do this before a work session, and then again before a formal session, and attend the meeting prepared to use the allotted 3 minutes to communicate your issue and ask your question. I am not one for public speaking, and I do not want to go to this meeting and stand up and speak for 3 minutes because I have dyslexia and I've always struggled with reading out loud and speeching. But if their process doesn't work and I submit this question both in an email format and their formal presentation and they still don't address it, it is my job as a duty to hold them accountable, stand up and speak for the 3 minutes and make them address the issue. Everyone's issues are different, but only choose one issue at a time. This communicates specifically what you are there for at any given time. It makes you If it makes you emotional, show your emotion. Be passionate, but try to refrain from being aggressive. Good luck. Welcome to the sunrise. Tune in tomorrow for the path.